What's common between all these areas? Well, they're called blue zones, where people on average are said to live for 100 years. Now compare this with other regions in the world where the life expectancy is just 74 years. So what's behind this massive difference? Well, unlike other places, people living inside these blue zones don't consume processed foods often. But think about what you ate last week. Processed foods have become a major part of people's diets across the world because of their irresistible taste. Dude, it makes sense, right? I think it was not called processed food. Like, I'm only thinking about this word now. It was just food. French fry, burger, this is food, right? And I think in the last 50 years, processed food has gone up 400%.
400%. That's it. But I think from the time we last met, I think you have started eating 400% more. Like, dude, I'm not buying this stuff. If you're saying that processed food has increased only 400% in the last 50 years, I don't think that's true. Because I'm pretty sure 50 years back in India, there was no processed food, right?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's just everywhere.
But it makes sense, right? Like a French fry is far more tastier than, say, turai ki sabji. So I can understand why a population would understand why we also like it. Abhi, you were also snacking on that plate over there. It's definitely not good for you. But I think it'll be interesting to know when packaged food started being manufactured at an industrial scale and unka kya incentive tha? Like history kya hai? We've been processing food for over 1 million years, with the earliest example is this guy. Some 2.1 million years ago, the Homo habilis, one of the earliest known human species. They had to cook meat to make it easier for chewing. Now, this was followed by simple food preservation methods like drying, smoking, and salting, which the early civilizations adopted. Then, in the 19th century, two important developments took place. First, French chef Nicolas Appert discovered something unbelievable. He tried to preserve food in airtight bottles, which came to be known as canning. Think about how many food items you take out of a can. Thank this Frenchman. One of the most popular use was during World War I, when soldiers fighting in war needed quick food supplies which could last for days. As the world went back to normal and people started upgrading their lifestyle, the demand for packaged or processed food started booming, and convenience became a preference over the hard labor of cooking. Who's gonna cook that shit when I can just open the can? Then in the 1860s, another Frenchman invented pasteurization, which became a breakthrough in preserving milk and other food items. Even today, the milk you drink, thank that Frenchman. Seeing this, companies saw an opportunity. They could capitalize on the laziness of Homo sapiens and started aggressively advertising ready-to-eat food.
Cornflakes, the leader is here with a bright new face, a colorful ear of corn. Golden corn.
And that became a staple part of modern American diet. And it wasn't just the West alone which is enjoying the revolution. India piche kaise hatega? It was the beginning. We also saw a number of processed food companies come up. Earliest among them were Britannia and Parle. Two companies founded long before World War II. After the country became independent, India too wanted convenience. We wanted to get on with our daily work and make cooking, well, easy. One of the most easiest processed food that became massively popular was this: bread. Dude, the interesting thing about India is the processed food which is the most famous, which is bread.
I don't think it's just India alone, right? All over the world, it's probably bread.
It's interesting, right? Portuguese में जब India आया था, तो they brought in bread. I'm guessing it was the wheat flour, bana, bake हुआ,
so that's
ferment
interesting,
हुआ.
right? In Bombay, I mean in Maharashtra, they still call it pav. And I think pav is a Portuguese word.
Yes, for sure.
So,
तुम्हीं से आता होगा. So I'm guessing when that bread happened, it was not mass produced, right? There were small bakers who did it, and quality बहुत बढ़िया था. But let's think about your favorite packaged bread today and think about the manufacturer, right? उसकी perspective से he has to make sure three things. Brand अच्छा होना चाहिए, marketing solid होना चाहिए. It should feel transparent and healthy. That's why it has like transparent bags. And
or maybe it's just there to see the fungus if it's growing inside.
That's actually probably the real reason.
But anyway.
Second, it has to have a long shelf life.
I have a problem with that, right? So if something has a long shelf life, it means that microorganisms, bacteria are not attacking it.
And they are rejecting it. तो आप कैसे खा सकते हो?
So why are you eating something? I mean, yeah, but anyway, go on.
Correct. And I think the third thing is that nutritional value ke liye, they have to do the fermentation, get the right ingredients, maybe put some nuts and other good stuff in it. And that's expensive to scale. If you put these three things in line, the nutritional value of bread should be falling over a long period of time. So the bread that we see now, dude, even the brown bread, I've heard a lot of the brown bread is not actually brown bread. They just dip it in molasses and it just looks brown.
Yeah.
So this is a problem, yaar. Matlab, even the bread is not nutritionally good for you. It's just highly palatable.
Yeah.
Apart from bread, I think there's another addiction we have, and that's like instant noodles. I think it came in the 80s or 90s, and we all love that shit,
It's so
man.
nostalgic, right? Arey, instant noodles.
Not just instant noodles, but over the years, we have products like chocolates, chips, and even instant coffee. With the global processed food market set to touch $3.4 trillion. That's 3,400 billion by 2030. That's a lot of food. But despite being $1 trillion market and widely consumed across the world, processed foods contain some serious health risks, especially today when it's become worse with ultra-processed foods. But what are ultra-processed foods? Well, when a food is made almost entirely by adding preservatives, artificial sweeteners, additives, and other chemical substances, they are called ultra-processed. Big corporations like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Domino's, and PepsiCo have built empires on ultra-processed foods. I think what really sucks also is that marketing companies say, because essentially a lot of these companies are marketing companies, okay, let's face it. They say that this is good for you and this is good for breakfast. This is good for a snack. And we believe it. The Janta actually believes it, right? No one really knows how to look at the nutritional label and understand iske andar hai kya. Another aspect which came to the limelight was breakfast. It was the cereal companies who made breakfast the most important meal of the day.
Breakfast! And sugar, make it different and wonderful. A circus of fun to eat. So you crinkle on down to the store for post-sugar.
It all started with a physician who believed that eating a healthy breakfast was essential for good health. And he said,
"Eat a breakfast that includes grains, fruits, and nuts to do a better job."
And it went on to create the first breakfast cereal. Since then, the market has been flooded with sugary and colorful cereals like these. And the saying was born, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But that may not be true. Experts say that skipping breakfast may not really lead to weight gain or underperformance. It's just a big lie peddled by the lobbyists. So what can we do? Well, for starters, we can probably do is try to avoid any food that comes in bright, colorful packages kept on the top shelves of supermarkets. I think a general rule for health is, if you don't know how it's made, don't eat it.
Don't go to a supermarket, general.
Don't go to a supermarket. Go
What
to...
do you mean, I don't understand. If anything is in a box, you shouldn't buy it.
Dude, I was buying a packet of milk this morning. Real story.
Oh, sorry, milk box exception, but other boxes.
No, but this milk, I don't know. Tell me, I don't know. This milk said that it's homogenized milk. It said that you do not need to refrigerate it for up to 15, 20 days, something like that. And it will not spoil. And all the bacteria has been removed. That can't be good, right? Or is it good? I don't know how to react to that when I read that. It didn't sound right. Despite all these studies and advice from nutritionists and doctors, the demand for processed food remains high. And it makes sense, right? It's cheap and affordable and super quick to consume. In fact, if you look at middle-income countries, 50% of their dietary needs come from such food. And as for their impact, one study done in Brazil by the American Journal of Preventive Medicine showed that 10% of deaths were contributed among the ages of 30 to 69 because of ultra-processed food. Now think about the same effect in your country, or in the US, or in Europe, where the income disparity is so large that the lower income groups spend more money on getting their nutrition from ultra-processed foods. And the most common ingredient found in these kinds of foods is HFCs, also known as high fructose corn syrup, which along with sugar is regarded as one of the main reasons for the rise in obesity rates worldwide. Now, big corporations know they can use fat, high sugar, and salt to create a recipe that will make your mouth salivate.
It's actually the unholy trinity. These three things do not occur in nature together, ever.
So the body thinks, oh my God, jackpot.
Jackpot. ये खाने के लिए आपके पूर्वज जो हंटर गैदरर थे उनको एक साल में अलग अलग चीजें खा के एट डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ टाइम इन तीनों का कॉम्बिनेशन मिलता। ये तीनों चीजें इकट्ठी नेचर में एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती। आपको शुगर प्लस सॉल्ट मिल जाएगा, शुगर प्लस फैट मिल जाएगा, फैट प्लस सॉल्ट मिल जाएगा, तीनों नहीं मिलेंगे। वो तीनों हमारी बॉडी को जब हिट कर दो तो जो डोपामीन हिट होता है उसका इज जस्ट बेस्ट देन यू आर एडिक्टेड, राइट? कि अब ये तो नो वन कैन ईट जस्ट।
Now, this isn't wrong because the big corporation is trying to optimize for sales and you are trying to optimize, well, for your primeval brain trying to figure out what to eat next. And high sugar is just perfect. But this isn't great for your health. And we call this food engineering. Something that looks amazing, tastes the best, but is horrible for your health. But some things are changing. Thanks to the internet, consumers are smarter and they know what's good and bad for them. And to serve this underserved market of the smarter consumer, some companies are creating healthier snacks, healthier food. But the problem is, healthier food just doesn't taste as well as engineered food and is slightly more expensive. Who will win in the end? Our salivating taste buds or our brain? If you've liked the episode so far, hit that like and subscribe and don't forget to comment.
This kind of food is gaining currency, gaining traction because of the kind of lifestyle we have, right? So I'll tell you an interesting thing, right? So when I was a college student, I spent a significant part of my academic life in Germany. And the interesting thing is, so everybody thinks white people eat like, junk food, right? That's not at all true.
Europeans
it's just an American phenomenon. Nobody knew. Europe make college students, right? College students eat healthy. They cook. Like my classmates go to the supermarket, buy vegetable, not like the, pesticide wala. Dude, their food looks different. The fruits are bigger. The vegetables are greener, right? They bring it, they cook at home, they eat healthy food, right? And that's part of the reason is because they have the lifestyle which gives you enough time to do a slow living. Because if you look at India, right? India is a very aspirational country. All of us need jobs. We are always busy because we want to get ahead in life. You want to earn some extra bucks.
The hamster wheel doesn't allow us to do that.
You want that extra nicer life, right? So because you need the extra nicer life, you can't take a 2-hour lunch break. French people have a 2-hour lunch break, right? We don't have 2-hour lunch break. French people probably commute with nicer public transport, get home in 15 minutes. See, at some point, you have to understand the economic concept of marginal utility, right? See, you have to understand that when slightly positive things happen, your happiness goes up a lot. For example, if you move from a 2 BHK to 3 BHK, your happiness goes up a lot. But when wrong things happen, right? Let's say you fall sick, you get cancer or you get COPD or you get one of those you get diabetes or something. So if you have diabetes, right? Diabetes is a spectrum, right? Diabetes, hypertension, they are all a spectrum. They are all highly correlated diseases. Diabetes and hypertension makes you more susceptible to a spectrum of a number of diseases. So if you work a couple of extra hours, make your life better, move from a 1 BHK to 2 BHK, buy like an SUV instead of a hatchback, yes, your delta happiness is increasing by plus 10 points, plus 20 points something. But if you get sick because you traded those number of hours to earn money rather than focus on your health, the downside which you get if you fall sick, it'll be minus 1,000, minus 5,000 points.
But Abid, this is easy for you to say now. You could not have said this in your 20s. This realization happens much later. Now, if people can have that realization earlier,
but
that's
the thing
a big
is this,
plus.
like, if you already have that realization, it's not a bad idea to spread it to other people who are trying to become like you. Like, see, I'm just, so if somebody is watching it, I'm saying that, boss, maybe I shouldn't have done it. And now that I'm seeing you start on this path, maybe don't do this. Like, don't trade your life for anything. I mean, it's not worth it. So I have a lot of friends who are practicing slow living because ultimately, right, people try to quantify your score with money or, possessions or something. The unquantifiable thing is how happy you feel. Right. So, for example, I know a couple of a married couple friend of mine in Bombay. They just left the place. They moved to Himachal. They, forage. They cut wood. they go hunting wild fowl, stuff like that. They're incredibly happy, incredibly healthy. A lot of my friends moved to Varkala in Kerala. They get up in the morning, go surfing, have local produce. They don't have
The Goa lifestyle also,
they,
right?
they don't have so much money, right? But then the question is this, right? What are you going to do with it beyond a certain point? Like, I mean, it's not one of those tropes which say ki yaar money can't buy happiness. That is trope. I completely dismiss it.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to understand that what's the trade-off.
Now, whether you get the time to cook or not, processed foods are bad for your health. And another thing which is making worse is the packaging material used to pack them. For example, plastic, which is commonly used by big corporations, contains a chemical compound known as BPA. This creates hormonal imbalances in the body, leading to diseases like PCOS, thyroid, and even infertility. And apart from plastic, there's PFC. I didn't know one thing though, right? Before this show, I was trying to research if the packaging itself could be bad. So, of course, don't have enough information. But it seems like there is this coating of PFC which happens around burgers and pizza boxes and sandwiches, etc. Basically, it's heat resistant. It makes the box more durable. It's water and grease resistant. So it's very valuable for the manufacturers of the food to send it in this packaging. But this is actually banned in 2019.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if people, because it's linked to cancer and other problems.
No, I see, you know what really worries me? It's not about the fact that something which is harmful, which was banned in the past. What really makes me worried now is what is it that we are using right now, which is going to be banned 10 years later, right? Because I don't know, man. When I am 55, I don't want the government to suddenly come with an announcement saying, boss, you know that thing which you're eating, arey wo cancer causing, man, congrats. Now we are banning it.
Sorry.
Bro, ye kya hai?
So the safest thing is this, right? If it existed 1,000 years ago,
yeah, just go back to the
eat it now.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot more safe.
Yeah. That's it.
Now, countries are taking steps to eliminate plastic and PFCs from the food supply chain. But this entire process has been happening for almost a decade, and it's impossible to completely remove it. Globally, the food processing market is worth about 4 trillion, which showcases its enormous economic importance. And in a country like India, its significance is even more. I understand it's bad and all of that. Ek to dekho, the consumer is consuming it. This is a fact.
Yeah.
Right? FMCG companies do well. So that means they have found product market fit.
No, we are a farm. People are a farm to make them money.
Agreed.
Crazy.
100%. Including us, right?
Yeah, including us.
100%. Now, I have a question here. The highest amount of, I think, noodles and packaged food exported in the world, did you know India is number one
I
on
had
that
no
list?
idea. I was very shocked.
People are consuming our instant noodles. They're consuming our...
I actually thought it would be the America.
It's not actually. It's India. India is number one. 9% of all people employed in India are employed in the packaged food industry.
What?
Yeah.
So you're saying I take like 100 dudes, 10 of them work in packaged food.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how this 9% has come. Does it mean someone working on a farm and that becomes a wafer chip, he's also employed? Is it calculated like that?
I mean, part of the food chain. Value chain.
So you can't ban this.
Yeah.
How will it change? I don't know. What's the end game over here, right? But there's some good news though. Alternative packaging is coming. But it's still kind of far away. And though the corporations are taking various measures, we still can't eliminate the existence. You know, a lot of livelihood is dependent upon processed and packaged food industry. You know, some packaged food claims to be healthier choice.
Yeah.
And people think that they're feeling great about it.
Yeah.
It's total bullshit.
I know.
Speaking of bullshit, have you heard about greenwashing?
Yeah, I've heard this one. This is basically companies claiming that this is very eco-friendly and saves the polar bear, etc. When actually they are doing pretty much ghanta, right? And I think a lot of people have told me that EVs are actually greenwashing people into buying these cars.
Electric vehicles and greenwashing. The only way you can know is watch the next episode on electric vehicles. So hit that like and subscribe and see you in the next one.